Did you know over 60% of first-time clients do not return for a second visit? That is so painful, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's where Maya comes in. Maya is the ultimate marketing software for the beauty and wellness industry. We have a proprietary funnel utilizing special algorithms to help connect the right consumers with the right providers at your business. This means that Maya helps you get higher spending clients you love to work with who stay the long haul. If you want to increase your revenue, increase your client count, increase your average ticket, and increase your new client retention, then you need Maya. Go to joinmaya.com to set up your own personal virtual tour and see why over 500,000 consumers have trusted Maya and the businesses we work with to find their perfect beauty and wellness pro. We promise you will love Maya.
Thank you for joining me. This is KATI Whitledge with the Beyond the Technique podcast. Today we're talking about salon owners with social status. Are you one of them? We're going to find out. And today I have the perfect guest, an expert who is going to guide you on all things social media and marketing. We have JODIE Brown here. Let me just share a bit about this amazing Canadian, my neighbor to the north. JODIE is a former hairstylist of 15 years who's transitioned into a dynamic marketing mentor, podcast host, and retreat leader for beauty and creative educators. Through her brand, she empowers salon owners and beauty industry trainers to develop aligned messaging, content strategies, and marketing systems that attract their dream clients and create freedom. So without further ado, help me welcome JODIE Brown. Welcome to Beyond the Technique.
Thank you so much for having me, KATI. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you because marketing, it's like, I love it. And you also have a background doing hair. So I'd love to start there of what got you into the beauty industry.
So I always joke, but this is true, that I teethed on perm rods because my mom was a salon owner. So I'm originally from the UK, and my mom started as a shampoo girl when she was 11. She bought her first salon at 21. So, I've been in this industry my whole life. And one of the things that I thought was so cool when I was growing up and kind of deciding what I wanted to do, I knew I was going to be a hairstylist when I was 13 or 14, I want to say, because I saw that my mom would go to work and she still loved her job after decades and decades in the industry, right? So she transitioned out of salon ownership, but I saw her go to work every day and I saw the amazing career she was able to create for herself working part-time. And so I just really fell in love with the industry, with the constant evolution, with all of the opportunities and all of the different things. And just basically, I've always been very artistic and getting paid to do art all day behind the chair. That's what it looked like to me. So that's how I got into the industry. I went to hair school before I turned 18. I did an apprenticeship and I've been kind of working adjacent to the industry and in the industry ever since.
Wow. Very cool. And that you came from the UK. That is
Yeah.
also really neat. So you're very cultured and which makes sense that you're friends with our girl Kelly Kane,
Yeah.
who's a little world traveler. I love her so much, and appreciate for her really just bringing us together because you do bring something special to the table, which is social media marketing, and you help so many entrepreneurs in this industry find their true brand and voice. So I want to talk about how did you make the kind of transition from doing hair to then moving into the social media marketing side of things?
You were frozen. I'm so sorry, KATI. That whole portion, all I heard was social media side of things.
I'm so sorry about that. This
I'm
is
sorry,
what we
because now you're
talk
gonna
about
have to
behind the
edit.
scenes. There's some crazy cloud storm, who knows. Okay,
Yeah.
so how did you make that transition from hairstyling, being behind the chair to now working with entrepreneurs and helping them with social media marketing?
So it kind of basically listening to marketing podcasts. And there in 2014, 2015, there weren't really industry podcasts yet, right? It was more, I know yours started right after that period, which is so cool. But really, I just decided that I needed to learn all about this new thing because I went back to do hair in a city that I hadn't done hair in 5 years. So I had no clientele. It was a brand new salon. So like the area was literally still under construction. So nobody knew where it was. And I was kind of thinking like now, I have a kid at home. I have a daycare bill for the first time in my life. So I got to figure out how to build and build quick. And like I had kind of done that in multiple cities before, but this just seemed like a really cool tool that our industry now had access to. So I went all in on Instagram. So that was kind of the tool that I chose to go in on at the time. And I was shook by how quickly I was able to build, like from someone who had entered the industry, when she was 18 and had to do kind of the traditional route, right? And how long that takes to build. I was shook how quickly I could build. I was also really surprised that once I started to get like strategic with it, how specific I could get with the clients that I was calling in. And so that was kind of the start of my love affair, I guess, with marketing and the power of it. And I like was able to go independent and I kind of started to be the go-to for all of my industry friends in the area. And we would talk about, what I had done. It was like back then being able to post an Instagram story and fill a cancellation was kind of revolutionary. Now I think it's, a lot more widespread, but at the time it was really something that I was like, wow, this is like magic. Like, how can I turn on this faucet for all of these clients? And so that was kind of the first foray. And when I started using it to build my own business behind the chair. And then in 2020, long story short, basically, when everything shut down in Canada in March, I had fallen so in love with the marketing side of my business that I made a really impulsive decision. I terminated my lease. I retrained, like for my chair, I retrained as I got like actual social media management training. And I started working with other like beauty pros and even like a distributor and those types of beauty businesses to basically make sure that what I was doing wasn't a fluke and this was a repeatable, structured system that I could implement and then go on to like teach. And my agency grew from there and my education. So that's kind of how that transition happened in a really condensed way.
Well, congrats on having the courage to make that big leap when there
Yeah.
were so many unknowns, especially during that time, that pandemic.
Mhm.
So I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's really paid off because you've helped so many people. For everybody listening, let's first talk about, I want to get to how you help them, but like, why is it important for the salon owner themselves to have brand presence on social media, their own brand as themselves?
Well, I think it's so important because that's what consumers are looking for. Like they are paying attention. And I know that there's been a lot of conversation recently about like attrition and where the actual clients are coming from, right? So there's there's Google search and there's your website and there's all of these places that we can get new clients, but at the end of the day the referral system has changed and this is consistent. No longer are people saying call my hairstylist. They're saying, here's their Instagram or here's the salon's Instagram. Check this out. So, no matter where people are finding you, there is a really good chance that they are taking a look at your social presence, whether you're a stylist or a salon owner, to almost get a feel for your salon, get a vibe. And if you're not building the brand, I think there's a little bit of a liability there in terms of when we're comparing and we're looking at different options, we're going to look at the one that looks consistent, that has a great presence, that has a a little bit of personality, so we can really feel that. And I think there's a really big trust building opportunity. And you don't need to get the beautiful part of this is you don't need to go viral or get millions of likes for this to be the thing. It's just building your brand's presence. And I think it's really, really vital, no matter where your clients are actually coming from.
Yeah, I would agree with you also with if I'm eager to be at the coolest salon working with the best people
Yeah.
as a new hairstylist, which
Yes.
salon owner do I feel can bring it and have
Yeah.
that leadership that I'm like drawn to so that all, yeah, what do you think?
Oh my goodness. Yes. I was like, I couldn't wait to weigh in and agree enough. And I think too, there's like, I teach in salon classes and I talk to a lot of owners and I talk to a lot of like, educators. And there's always kind of an underlying, like, I wish my stylists would, do more on social and I wish that they would do this. And if you're building a brand that's attracting stylists that find you on social, I feel like you're really increasing the chance that the people who find you on social are going to be willing to leverage that tool to grow themselves within your salon as well.
Absolutely. So when you come alongside and coach, and maybe this is not what you do. Do you do one-on-one coaching? Is this a retreat environment? How do you help come alongside salon owners who are like, where do I start? What should I be doing?
So there's a couple different ways, but it all starts the same. So like we have done for you services. I do like mentorship and then we have our retreats. But it all starts in the same place, and that is defining your brand. Because if you're not sure like who you're wanting to attract and then what the message is, like I always say, content is not the message, it's the messenger, right? So your social media or wherever else you're marketing your business, that's just the messenger that's getting it out there. And if you're not clear on that core your core brand, who you're wanting to attract, whether it's stylists or clients, and what message you're actually wanting to put out into the world, what you want to be known for. That's consistent with salons, with educators, with every business. And that is where we always start because without that, you can post as many viral reels as you want and you can post as many trending audios as you want, but it's not really going to actually move the needle in terms of building your business and your foundation without that real clarity on your brand.
Well, and you work with many owners who have other lanes in addition to
Yeah.
their salon. So tell us a bit
Yeah.
about that and what makes your clientele just kind of a niche environment.
Yeah, when I started educating, I was working like I was coming from being a stylist to being a like an educator. So I was working with a lot of stylists. Alongside that journey, I was getting approached by tons of my peers, right? And that was hairstylists who were also offering education. And so they were kind of coming to me and being like, we see what you're doing. Like your launches look like they're going really well, which they were very quickly. How do we do this? Like, how do we grow on social? How do we, get that marketing together? And so it kind of like organically grew alongside what I was doing was kind of attracting people who were doing similar things. And I've always been someone who's like, I want us all to kind of like come up together. I very much am not into like, I think leadership is like you're alongside your people, not necessarily over your people. You know what I mean? That's always been kind of my thoughts on and feelings on this. So that's kind of how I started attracting that niche is just living it and just embodying what I was doing and sharing what I was doing. And then it came a point where I was like, looking at what I was actually doing in my day to day and like that 80/20 rule of like who I was actually working with all the time and I was like I want to go all in and I want to really structure everything I do to support this person. And so that's kind of how that niche or niche was born for me is it really was organic.
I love that. And I love how you have such a passion for social media. I'm
Yes.
curious as we are about to get into 2026, what are you seeing as important areas to focus on when it comes to our social media marketing?
Oh, this is such a good question. I just released a podcast about this actually because I think this is so, so important is to really think about the evolution of where social media is going because a lot of the things that I would have said in 2020 are no longer as applicable. So again, the foundation's all the same. The way that we communicate it, especially with that massive rise in AI, is is we need to be so much more specific. We need to put so much more of the personality into it. So, like couple actionable things here. I think we can really lend some creator mindsets when it comes to our content. So, storytelling. Not that anyone needs to be an influencer necessarily, but thinking about what stops your scroll, it's no longer the three tips too, right? Because that's everywhere. It's easy to create that stuff now. And that's kind of why I brought up AI is that it makes it very easy to create content at scale. But it skips a couple critical nuance things, right? And whenever there's in marketing, and I'm sure like this I'm sure you'll agree with this. Whenever there's like a massive trend, there's always a little bit of a pendulum swing back, right? And there it creates this hunger. So with all of this ease of creating content at scale that is potentially a little bit more generic. And there's ways that we can use AI to not be generic, but there is this hunger now for more personal connection. So storytelling, I think that the idea of specificity is kind of a vague one. So I want to break that down a little bit. Specificity, what I mean by that is instead of talking to vague ideas, speak to specific experiences. So your clients' specific experiences, so that when they're scrolling through their Instagram feed and they're seeing more content than they've ever seen before, they're looking at your content and they're saying, "Oh my God, this is exactly for me. Like this was written for me." And I also think another thing that we can do is weave in a little bit more of the I, which is the opposite of what I would have said probably 4 years ago, right? It's we needed to create a little bit more authoritative content where it's like you this and there's that psychological element, right? So I would always tell people use you a lot in your social. And while I still think there's a place and time for that, I think I language is also really important moving forward as well. And that's kind of lending from that creator mindset as well.
I love it. And I'm taking notes. Tell everybody listening what is the name of your podcast. And I will absolutely share that episode in our show notes as well.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. So I have a podcast called the Sought After Educator podcast. And then I also have a stylist podcast, but that one is kind of on hiatus at the moment, but it's called Hairstylist Rising.
Very cool. We will put so the episode that you just spoke about, we'll have in our
Yes.
show notes for everybody listening today.
Awesome.
Um, Amazing. Well, what else kind of lights you up that you are going to focus on and helping this whole industry with their social media marketing come next year?
I think the thing that lights me up the most is like spotlighting. So, one of the things when I work with my clients, right, I'll say something back to them and they're like, "Oh my God, that's so brilliant. Like, I never thought of that." And I was like, "That's literally what you just said. I just phrased it differently. Like, this is already in you. This is exactly what you're saying and what you're teaching." And for some reason, when it comes to social media, it's like, when you get up in front of a class when you're in school and you've done your assignment and you know your stuff and you know that you're right. And then the second you get in front of the class, you're like, like, what do I say? I feel like so many people experience that when it comes to social media. And I definitely did at the beginning. Like, I think a lot of us can relate to in entrepreneurship. We felt like we were too much at certain times. We would start to outshine our peers in certain ways, and we would be ostracized or talked about or any of those things, even in really, really small ways. And I think that that shows up for a lot of my brilliant, like amazing clients and community because, we experience certain things that try and essentially teach us to dim ourselves a little bit, to fit in or to not offend anyone or to not do, not shine quite so bright, Like you're allowed to be a certain amount of successful, but then don't go any higher than that. Otherwise, it'll, annoy people. And so, what really lights me up is helping people get more comfortable with embracing what they're here to do. So for me, usually it's with educators, right? It's like helping them bring this incredible work they're doing behind the scenes and getting more attention for it, getting more impact, not even attention, but developing more influence and being able to impact a wider community of people through embracing their own brilliance. And that's really what gets me excited about social media and about marketing in general.
I think so many owners are like really excited by what you just said and can relate and agree that
Yeah.
that is a challenge for them. What does the
Yeah.
investment look like for you? Is there one path they take to begin working with you and getting your help, or what are the options for them? Because I know owners listening are going to be like, I want to work with her.
So, one of the ways, like we have a content agency called Align Creative Co. And that is one of the ways that we help. And it's not just done for you. I also offer a content storyboard session essentially. So, it's an intensive where we hop on a call and basically we hammer out these things and we talk about how you can show up and we create content ideas. Because sometimes it's just giving yourself permission to like write these things down and step into what you want to step into. Another way is, of course, one of my favorite things that I get to do is hosting retreats. So we just opened up registration for Italy, October 2026. So our Greece retreat is sold out. That's in May. And our next one is coming up. I believe it's on October 9th to the 15th. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure those are the dates. And we really dive into like all of these things, the showing up, the supportive atmosphere, I think really helps people break through blocks. And we create at these retreats. So you don't have a chance to go home and get scared again. You actually are doing the thing, you're creating it so you have assets to leave with. So those are really two paths to work with me for salon owners specifically.
I have such FOMO immediately that I don't even want that to air because I'm like, I want to go. I want one of the spots. I'm going to put in the show notes for everybody. But that sounds absolutely incredible. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. And Align Creative Co. We're going to also put in our show notes for everybody to check that out and get tapped into following you on social media as well. So
Oh, thank you.
this is awesome, Jodie. Before we're done, what would be some final words of just encouragement for owners listening who maybe have a presence, but they really want to take it to the next level and not be scared to shine too bright?
So I think that the biggest thing is knowing that you showing up, not only, I think we all get really, especially a lot of like owners who, they've built salons, they love their teams, they love all these things. They're scared to shine a spotlight on themselves because they don't want it to be about them. I hear this all the time, right? I don't want it to be about me though. I don't want it to be about me. And what I want you to maybe just consider is the fact that when you show up and you get that confidence in yourself, not only are you doing it for yourself, you are setting an example for all of the people in your orbit that it's okay to be brave and put yourself out there. And I think that there's something so powerful about leading by example and just really doing the thing that scares you, doing the thing that feels hard. Because once you start to do that, like, listen, 5 years ago, I couldn't get on an Instagram story without fake lashes, full makeup, like, and a script, essentially. And now, like, the idea of doing a live, forget it. There's no way. And it's just one of those things that you don't get the confidence in it by thinking about it and overanalyzing it. You get the confidence in it by just starting to do the thing in whatever way you can. And eventually, it won't feel scary or new anymore.
This is awesome. I hope that this is so energizing to all of you listening today. It definitely energized me. So, Jodie, thank you for being here and sharing your wisdom with us this week. And thank you all for joining us here week after week at Beyond the Technique. If you appreciate this platform, please take a moment, leave us a 5-star review wherever you're listening so that more people like yourself will discover Beyond the Technique, where we're here to change the way that you are supported in your business. Thank you, Jodie, for being with me today. Until next time, have an awesome day and stay strong.